Hello, welcome to a special Sunday sports cast of the Burn KC. I am your host, Alex Blackburn. Today's episode is a Sunday scorcher. Got a lot to talk about today. Uh, Couple of things regarding the Royals, Chiefs, and SKC, who I haven't really talked about all that much as of recent, but they've got some big news as well. And then um, going over poll results from the weekend, and as well as little uh, international sport action, perhaps coming to Kansas City in 2031. We'll have to see, or 2033. So let's just get started. So with the Royals, um, earlier this week I sent out a poll regarding a new thing that's being discussed in the Royals fan base, and that's what do we do about management? And management, it doesn't seem as if the Royals have really moved anywhere the past God knows how many seasons. Yeah, 2014 and 2015 were great, but it's starting to look like that those were fluke years. And earlier this week, I asked you guys, the audience, should the Royals clean house? Should they start over in terms of when it comes to the front office or the scout team or wherever? And the three options obviously were complete clean house, start over, just throw it all away. Second option was to fire a few people, but not really like completely clean house, like keep Dayton Moore, Mike Matheny and all that. Obviously, Mike Matheny just got that extension, so that plays a part. And then there was stay the course. And overall, it was pretty evident that option A was going to win. Over the course of a couple days, as well as many different social media platforms, I definitely saw the trend of Royals fans being fed up with front office decisions, as well as decisions at the player and personnel level. And I fully understand that, honestly. I'm going to give you my opinion now, even though I've written about it a little bit, but not really given an in-depth opinion on it. Something about the scout team needs to be done, for sure. The way we are calling up guys to the majors is beyond my comprehension, honestly. I think when it comes to the talent that we have, the Royals have in the minor leagues, it's inexcusable that we have guys like Brian O'Hearn batting at DH, batting cleanup. The dude can't hit, let alone make contact. Even if he does make contact, where is it going? It's that he doesn't have a big bat. Like, why is he DH? I would put Salvi at DH over him. It's decisions like that, along with the whole Bali situation and just not having success that is sustained and not being able to build off of that 2015 series win that Royals fans are fed up with. And it very clearly showed in these polls. I got a comment here from my mother, actually. Let me pull it up here real quick. What did she say here? Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second here. It's here somewhere. One second, guys. I'm sorry. What in tarnation? Where is it? There it is. Already. So, my mom, Melissa D. Donder, commented on that post saying, clean house, it's been long enough. And knowing her and knowing the fandom that she has for Kansas City sports teams, not just the Royals, and how long she has been in this city, you can see the frustration growing for all walks of Royals fans, honestly. The games aren't fun to go to anymore, really. Obviously, sports events are what they are. You're going to find a way to have fun, more than likely. But, I mean, there's 4,000 people in the stands. No one... The fan base apathy is potent for the Royals. And it doesn't come down to just the player and personnel decisions. It also comes down to front office and presidency. And I think if David Sherman has any sort of any sort of I'm trying to think of the right word here. In a way, it's you have to be willing to rip Band-Aids off. And I get it. You extended Matheny. You trust in Dayton Bourne, whatever. You said you weren't going to get rid of him once you were president. Something has to change. And not the fact that, like, those two are the sole people at fault. Obviously, there's littler roles. I don't even want to say littler because, honestly, they carry just as much weight when it comes to this team's success. In the scouting department, in the marketing department, you got to get Bally figured out. Seriously. It's inexcusable that we have one medium, basically, unless you're a DirecTV subscriber, and even then, I'm pretty sure you still have to pay for it, which is ridiculous. I shouldn't have to pay to watch a Major League Baseball team on TV. Obviously at the stadium, but on TV, we should be able to watch our team. I can catch it at work, at my full-time job, thankfully, but at home, I'm stuck just looking at the ESPN score updates. It doesn't translate well when you say, oh, we're together Royal, we're, this, that, and the other thing. Oh, we're all a family. When you're not listening to your fan base. It's time to trade people. It's time to fire people. And I get it, there's politics and everything like that. But sooner or later, you're not going to have a fan base. And if you expect to build this downtown stadium, you're going to have a fan base. And I get it, like, oh, well, that'll help extend the fan base or whatever. In terms of, like, having it more easily accessible, I guess. The parking down in downtown, man, let's just say moving downtown worries me for the Royals. I think it's monetarily, it'll earn them a lot of money if they get fans in the building, and if parking doesn't cost an arm and a leg. It just really seems to me, along with the fan base, that we're not being listened to, and that's the biggest part when it comes to the Royals. And where do we go from here? It's hard to say. Obviously, you don't want any mid-season firings. That can get messy, especially in baseball where there's 150 games or however many. And there's going to be hard decisions that need to be made. And again, if David Sherman has any sort of gall, he will pull those bandages off quick. But that's really all I had to say about the Royals. They got a win today. That's good. Almost lost when being up 6-0, though. What needs to be done? And again, I don't want to hear a word about the small market mumbo jumbo BS. It's truly not about that at all. There is a bit of a handicap, but it is not a handicap that can't be managed. You look at teams like the Minnesota Twins, like the Chicago White Sox, the San Diego Padres, and all these other small market teams that are having success and trending upward rather than just continuing to have up and down years and spiraling. If small market were that big of an issue, the MLB more than likely would have done something by now about it. But truth is, it's not. You can be a small market team in the MLB and still have success. Yes, the big boys are going to bully you. That's a given. But you look at our 14 and 15 records. You look at how well the Twins have done, how well Chicago's secondary team has done, and San Diego, Seattle. There's no excuse. There's truly no excuse. I mean, sure, look at St. Louis. I get it, like, they're a pretty valuable team. And St. Louis, though, is no bigger than Kansas City is. It just hasn't made sense to me. And again, the small market hysteria of just, oh, we play in a small market. The excuses have to stop. And something needs to be done. Moving on from the Royals, I'm tired of being angry. Chiefs OTAs have started. Rookie Minicamp as well. A lot of things to watch for. So far, from what I've heard... 1 second, I need to sneeze. Maybe. Okay, we're good. Never mind. I misspoke. Sorry. But what we're looking for with Chiefs rookie minicamp, obviously you have the first round picks and like, oh, how are they looking and everything like that. But the big story is Justin Ross, undrafted free agent out of Clemson. He had a really really good freshman year, and then tore his ACL and kind of just had some pretty down years from there on out, kind of average. Um, but showed what he could do in 2018, um, with a good quarterback and a high-powered offense. Um, and I think that absolutely matters to the Chiefs, and I think that's why there was a mutual interest. Um, this kid has a lot of potential to get his career back on track. Um, he went through a lot in terms of the ACL tear, not getting as many minutes as he probably would have liked at Clemson, having to deal with Dabo Sweeney, um, and just overall, he's caught a lot of tough breaks. He was a project in 2018. He was a projected first round pick, and then he fell to a projected fifth round pick by the time 2021 came around. And that was not because, oh, he fell off or anything like that. It was truly because of just injuries. And yeah, the lack of production was there, but can you blame him? I mean, you look at Clemson's quarterback situation post Trevor Lawrence, and it's not good. um, and having a star quarterback for a receiver is extremely important, um, because then you'll get guys like Calvin Johnson that, yeah, they had a good quarterback. He had a good quarterback. Matthew Stafford's fine. But just never had that support of a high-powered offense. So he got looks, but he was the focal point for every defense. I digress, though. Enough talking about the Lions. God, how do we get there? But back to Justin Ross. I think with Patrick Mahomes under center, along with the offensive weapons that the Chiefs have, he has a potential to blossom. Um, by the end of the year, I could see him as a third option, honestly. Um, I know we got Sky Moore. He looks great too, but I'm looking forward to seeing what Justin Ross does in OTAs and rookie minicamp. So far, from what I've seen, he looks great. From what I've seen from people that are there, at the Chiefs facility looking in, people are noticing that this is a good rookie class, and that's exactly what the Chiefs needed going in. Now, if we could get another free agent signing, such as Akeem Hicks or any guy like that, an interior lineman, possibly, another corner to like James Bradbury to really hold that position down, I think the Chiefs have a great offseason. And as far as rookie camp and OTAs go, it's looking like it will be a good season for the Chiefs. Obviously, the schedule came out earlier this week. And there are plenty of games that will be tough tests for them. But each and every one of those games is winnable. And I know that's a cliche or whatever in the NFL, any given Sunday and blah, 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 blah. But truly, the Chiefs have the talent and the ability to beat everyone that is on their schedule this year. And I get it, the AFC West loaded up on talent or whatever. Russell Wilson, Khalil Mack. We've dealt with Khalil Mack before, mind you. And I get it, like, Joey Bosa's opposite him now. But it's nothing. The Chiefs have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL right now. And I get it, like, that right tackle position's looking thin. But we have serviceable players, including Jimmy Kennard, the rookie out of Kentucky, that will be able to fill that role easy. And I am confident that the Chiefs will at least go 11-6 this year, and make the playoffs. Same old song and dance. What I am a little bit more skeptic about is the playoffs. The AFC is wide open this year. Honestly, it truly is. It is a loaded conference, and depending on what Russell Wilson shows up, what Justin Herbert shows up, and what Derek Carr shows up, it's going to be a really competitive division, too. Probably the most competitive in the NFL, honestly. And I truly believe that. Call me biased, but I think a division with 4 top 15 quarterbacks in it, really, it may even be top 10. I mean, Derek Carr, for as much hate as he gets, he's a good quarterback. He is. Is he Captain Checkdown in a way? Maybe. Kinda. There's a reason Hunter Renfro's his favorite receiver. But I don't know. He's had some good passes, for sure. And the film that I've watched on him is good. And the AFC West is going to be chaos this year, I think. And if the Chiefs can find their way out of that chaos, I think they have every opportunity to push to a Super Bowl again. I think the odds right now are at 200 to, well, I don't think it's plus 200, I think. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up later. It's going to be a great year. I'm excited. Truly. And you should be too. And if you're not, well, there's the door. Go be a bandwagon fan somewhere else. I remember the 2008 and 2012 Chiefs when we went 2-14, or some god awful record like that. And I was like, okay, those are bad years, but it's behind us. We got it out of the way, and we get a number 1 pick. And we know what we need to do. I think the Royals, honestly, could take a page out of the Chiefs' book. And I think the Royals need to rebuild just as the Chiefs did in 2013. GM, coach, gone. I know I said I wouldn't talk about the Royals. I apologize. Forgive me. Let's go to Sporting Kansas City, shall we? Sporting Kansas City. It's looking good for the U.S. Open Cup. I'll say that much. The win against FC Dallas was huge, and they're not playing a great team by any stretch with the Sacramento something or others. They're like a USL team or something like along those lines. But they advanced to the round of 16 as well. You gotta treat every opponent the same. I think if Sporting Kansas City can win the U.S. Open Cup, that's a great sign. That means Sporting Kansas City is gonna have Just another year of championships, right? Not exactly. Um, the regular season has not been good for SKC. It's, I think last night, I know I was at a wedding, so I wasn't paying too much attention to my phone, but I'm pretty sure I saw 7-2 against Portland. Um, 7 goals is inexcusable for soccer, especially soccer at that high level. I don't really know what what was going on in terms of defense in that game, but it was non-existent for SKC that night, uh, which has kind of been the norm, honestly. Uh, the defense has to get bigger, more physical, and present, honestly. And I get it, like, they're an aging core. There's a lot of age going around, but with Johnny Russell and everything like that. But it's once again, it's hard to gauge, I'd say at least, how good Sporting Kansas City is going to be this year. They've had a lot of great wins, but they've also had some really bad losses. Um, and honestly, the bad outweighs the good. Um, it's a lot like the Royals this year, in in the sense that it's wildly inconsistent, and I think once they click, they're golden. Peter Vermees is a great coach. There doesn't need to be any firing on the side of Sporting Kansas City. This is a rebuild year. I think we all knew that it was going to be a rebuild year. The Royals are completely different. There we go, talking about the Royals again. Bear with me. But the Royals situation, because I've seen it compared a lot this year, because, oh, both teams are bad, therefore fire everyone. The reactionary tone in situations of hardship, unless it's like, KU football, the Royals, etc., where the apathy has grown so much that it's turned into vitriol. But in the case of SKC, they made it to the playoffs last year. They made it to the Western Conference Final last year. And you guys are throwing a fit because they're in a rebuilding year? Newsflash, your team can't always be good. And that's a bandwagoner's mindset. It's amazing to me how many people out there can only love a sports team when they are good. And while I understand, like, yeah, you want to see your team win, it's not the end all be all if they need to take a year to relax. I mean, you talk about great sports dynasties, like the Patriots, Alabama football, the Blue Bloods in college basketball, and just sports teams that have this tradition of excellence for as long as all of us can remember. I think Alabama went, 3-9 in 2001, 2002. The Patriots were terrible when they didn't have Tom Brady. Yeah, Drew Bledsoe was fine. Yeah, Tony Eason, I think. I can't remember the guy's name. He was fine. But I mean, other than that, those are two serviceable quarterbacks in the span of the Patriots have been around since the '60s. My, what I'm getting at here, though, is dynasties sometimes need time to re-up and rearm. And again, yeah, we're seeing that with the current Patriots. You look at their 2020 record, it was terrible. It wasn't good. But I have digressed a lot in this podcast. My apologies. Back to Sporting Kansas City. What it comes down to is patience. And I get it. Kansas City, it's a patient city for those of us who aren't bandwagon fans and that stick by these teams that play for us. There are times where it has not been easy. I understand that. But this is a time where you need to sit back and just be like, okay, it's okay to lose. Sporting Kansas City is going to be fine. Peter Vermees is not going to lose his job over this. And you know what? If they win the U.S. Open Cup, it's the U.S. Open Cup. I mean, it's not the MLS championship by any stretch, but it's still a trophy. I don't know. Just Sporting Kansas City has had that tradition of excellence. It truly has. But it's rebuilding time. So just be patient. Moving on to sports betting. I released another poll earlier this week about it, and the question read as, do you think sports betting should be legalized in Kansas and Missouri? Obviously, Kansas just passed it. Sports betting is going to be legal in Kansas. Missouri is still having troubles with it, but I know it's on the floor right now at the state capitol. Just legalize it. Honestly, it's too much trouble to regulate when it's illegal, and you can make money off of it through taxes. So just legalize it. I mean, my goodness. You see all these commercials about DraftKings and about, daily fantasy sports and just gambling in general, really. And you think to yourself, gosh, who in their right mind would want to bet money on sports given how unpredictable things are? I don't condone gambling in any way, shape, or form. Moderation and everything. If you know what you're doing, gambling is completely all right. If you've gone off the deep end, though, you've gone off the deep end. And as someone who has a full-time job in banking, I've seen some bad stuff when it comes to gambling. So I understand people's reservations about it. But the poll ran that I had ran. It's pretty clear where people's thoughts are about this issue, and that's that it should be legalized. And I tend to agree. I think it's too much trouble to regulate. I mean, shoot, it's hardly regulated, even though it's technically illegal. I went to college at KU. I think I knew a bookie for every fraternity that was on campus. That's not to say I didn't use them, or that's not to say I bet. I don't. Personally, I'm not a bettor, um, but that's for personal reasons. Not let's just say this: I don't do well in gambling, and it's that realization. I mean, it's like alcohol and tobacco. It's an addictive substance, but moderation is okay. And telling people how to live their lives and force that control can be a slippery slope, especially when it comes to things like that. And I get it. There are people that are going to abuse it and that are going to lose a lot of money in it. But unfortunately, the facts of life are the human condition requires you to have some discipline and some restraint. And in order to survive. And if something is a vice, we're getting philosophical here, I apologize. But if something's a vice, such as gambling, alcohol, drugs, etc., it does make things harder. But it's recreation. And judge not, lest you be judged yourself. Moving right along, though, as we do not need to be philosophical anymore. Sports betting should be illegal. Sports betting should be legal, is what I meant to say. And you can't deny that. The court of public opinion has spoken on it, and it says to just give it the green light already. So just give it the green light, Missouri. Whatever filibuster, whatever politics that are going on in that room in Jefferson City just needs to stop. But that's all I kind of wanted to say about it. I'll go more in depth in a article this week for sure. It's kind of been hard to process some thoughts. I had a very long weekend. But giving to the last but certainly not the least of the topics I wanted to cover, rugby, baby. 7th season for the Blues is starting up. The college national title for sevens is going on right now in New Orleans. I think Lindenwood, which is a school in St. Charles, for those that don't know, pretty good at rugby. I think they're in the finals against somebody else, but if I can't remember. I'll have to check. Again, been a busy week. But Club Sevens is starting for the summer. If you're looking to get in shape, it's a great way. We do a lot of sweating. It gets hot out there. But that's kind of the minor story when it comes to rugby this week. The United States, this is the major news, by the way. The United States has accepted the call to be Rugby World Cup hosts for men's in 2031 and women's in 2033. And let me tell you why that's big news. Number one, we could get games in Kansas City. An international sporting event might be coming to Kansas City. And that's huge for those that don't know. It's like having the Super Bowl here. Um, because people come from all over to watch these games. And to be able to represent our country in a way such as that through an international sporting event, I think is the perfect thing for Kansas City. I think we have a very welcoming atmosphere. I think there's plenty of stadiums, plenty of amenities to host a couple games for the Soccer World Cup and for the Rugby World Cup. And it's an event that could get Kansas City on the map. But outside the local aspect, the United States, let's just say, has not been the best on the international rugby stage. And it's somewhat justified as American football has kind of a foothold in the States when it comes to contact sports. And having the World Cup here for the first time ever, mind you, it's a lot like having the Soccer World Cup here, which I think happened first in '99 with the Women's World Cup. That was in Los Angeles. Someone will have to fact check me on that. That's not fact. Yet. But I think it was in '99 when the Soccer World Cup was in the United States. And what you saw from that was a growth in the game of soccer. Soccer became one of the fastest growing sports in the U.S. And now sits as probably the fifth biggest sport in the United States right now. Well, actually, honestly, in terms of youth participation, and I'm not talking like MLS numbers right now, but in terms of youth participation, it's the biggest. And that's far and away. I know plenty of people that played soccer growing up that are extremely unathletic now. But my point being is it caught on because it was already here in the States, but we weren't that good. It was kind of a rocky road for sure, being a developed nation that wasn't that great at soccer, still isn't spectacular, but I mean, we're a lot better than we were. But what I'm saying is, this could help both the United States in terms of getting an international sporting event here, having the international relations aspect of it all, and getting these cities like Kansas City, and I'm sure Denver's gonna have a couple. Denver's a big rugby spot. Salt Lake City, LA. East Coast cities. But I think Kansas City, it's in the middle. Forget I say anything. When it comes to the growth of rugby, though, let me zoom in on that. The growth that this World Cup could provide for engagement and getting kids interested in sports and sports entertainment and everything like that could be absolutely massive. Just like it was back when the United States first hosted the Soccer World Cup. Rugby is already a growing game here in the States. There's a lot of growth that's happened over the past 10 years or so. I first started playing in high school, and I've loved every minute of it. Uh, and that's what it comes down to, honestly. If you want to grow a sport, it starts at the grassroots level, and that starts with the youth and drumming up the public interest, not only with parents but with kids. And having an international sporting event, something as big as that, does so much for popularity and for global connection. Uh, there's a reason soccer is called the beautiful game, and that's because anybody can play it, and it's the most easily accessible game in the world in terms of like ball sports. Like obviously you got like racing and stuff like that. Um, but I think rugby could be the next great ball sport if it drums up interest in the United States. And right now, the interest is there. I mean, like rugby has a presence in the U.S., but it's it's nothing special at the moment. But it is growing. And I think the closer we get to that 2031 date, the more it is going to grow. I think rugby's on the upswing. I'm excited to be an ambassador of the game. Um, and just I wore a shirt for this podcast for this exact reason. It's my Heartland Youth Rugby shirt, and I wore that shirt because I wanted to get into the youth aspect of how important this is, um, for this to happen. It's monumental, honestly. Uh, the reason rugby hasn't grown as much as, say, American football and everything like that is because the public interest hasn't been there. And a lot rugby gets a bad rap for being unsafe. Rugby's actually been proven to be safer than football, American football. And all it takes, really, is a ball and two sides of seven. I mean, that's all it really takes. Or 15. But anyway, hearing that news really put a smile on my face. I can't wait for this decade. Well, it's going to be a fun decade nonetheless, but it's going to be even more fun to watch the game I love grow the way it will because of the interest that will be garnered up because of this international sporting event. And that's the beauty of sports, really, is it provides a connection to everyone. I mean, it's a medium of art almost. Not to sound extremely pretentious or anything like that. And I know I'm getting philosophical again, and we're almost done. I know I've been rambling a lot this podcast. It's just been a really long weekend, and I'm trying to just talk and just let myself kind of free flow. And it's exciting times for rugby, for sure. And again, I can't wait to see where it goes. That's our show. I'm getting real tired. This is the longest I've spoke on a podcast. After a long weekend, nonetheless. I want to say, again, congrats to my good friends Tony and Savannah for tying the knot. It was a very fun wedding. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for having me stand for you, Tony. Going to be articles released this week. Should continue on as normal. There will also be a poll. coming either tonight or tomorrow. I want to hear from you guys. Do you think the Friday cast is good, or do you want a Sunday cast? I know when it comes to Fridays, people are busy, especially Friday nights. Unfortunately, not for me. um, well, most of the time at least. Um, and I get to do my podcast too. I mean, that's forget it. I want to hear your thoughts on possibly changing podcast day to Sundays. Um, just let me know either in the comments down below or again, there's going to be a poll coming out. If you got any questions, interviews, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to email me or to hit me up on my socials or to comment. The engagement always helps. Thank you for being engaged. My Twitter poll actually on sports betting actually got over 50 votes, which is awesome. I know I'm a small podcast. I'm a small little guy right now, but the way this gets bigger is through audience engagement, and I appreciate each and every one of my followers, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in and listening. Um, it's been a fun ride so far, and I hope that it carries me further for sure, to heights not recognized already. And just overall, it's been a fun sentimental weekend, and that's kind of why I got on the philosophical track a little bit, as well. This podcast. So apologies if I rambled a little bit or if I got too sappy with a couple things or too pretentious with a couple things. Um, but hey, I hope you enjoyed. I'll be signing off. Look for an article tomorrow. And this has been the Burn KC. We'll see you later.